Hello, welcome to the Basketball Soapbox, Season 2, Episode 2. This is a very special episode. I have a person who I've been talking basketball with for probably about a decade now, since high school. 2K days, 2K drafts, rosters, franchises, watching playoff games, etc., etc. A guy who I chop it up with a lot. Melz, welcome to the show.
Everybody, thank you for having me, my friend. It's good to be able
Yes.
to do this with you. We're definitely going to have a good time.
Yeah, for sure. But unfortunately, I did not intentionally wait until after the Lakers lost today to talk about the Lakers. But let's get straight into it. What's going on with the Lakers? They're starting off now 0-3, just in shambles, it looks like, to start the season. LeBron in year 20, Anthony Davis trying to come back and get into a groove, and Russell Westbrook basically just being inept, putrid, whatever you want to call it on the offensive end, man. Like, what are your thoughts on your Lakers?
I mean, I would hope that it's not another down year to start. That's one of the biggest things. But the way how they've gone 0-3 so far, and then to lose that game not too long ago by 2 points is sort of like doesn't feel. I don't have the greatest feeling right now being a Lakers fan, but I'm still here.
Yeah.
So
No, go ahead. Sorry.
It's a little tough right now, but I think they will make the playoffs to start off from there. It's granted it's a bad start right now, but it's still early. It's still early. We've seen teams not start off the greatest and be able to keep it going and going into the months after All-Star break, they sort of turn it up a little bit. But yeah. It's disappointing.
Yeah, it's rough. Like, and I I'm a Celtics fan. You're a Lakers fan, and of course, I want to shit on the Lakers. I want to call them out, but I'm also a Russell Westbrook fan, and to see him be this bad, shooting the ball, not looking confident, not playing up and down, I'm like, I don't want to hate on my guy, but I hate the Lakers. You know what I mean? So like, I'm as a diehard Boston Celtics fan. It's like I gotta shit on the Lakers. But it's like it's tough seeing Russ do that. It's tough seeing LeBron in year 20. It's tough seeing Anthony Davis at times looking. Since last season, people wanted him to be aggressive, not looking like he's fully living up to his potential in LA so far. Of course, they got the bubble championship, and people already kind of shit on that a little bit. But we haven't really seen that AD since then. That the dominant force inside, being a dog inside, being aggressive. And now we're seeing him settle for jumpers. Like it's definitely a tough watch. As of course, again, as a Celtics fan, I want to see y'all lose. That's just the honest to good truth. You know what I mean? Like I want to see y'all suffer, burn LA, all that stuff. Like of course, I want to see y'all struggling. But watching basketball, like watching the basketball, it's like holy hell, man. It like watching offensive possessions for them. It's like it's tough.
It's really tough because, like how you said, AD hasn't been the AD that we've known him to be since the bubble championship. And they still do get a lot of flack for the bubble championship. But the thing that people sort of fail to understand is that everybody sort of played in a situation that was there. They played in a situation where they were away from their families for a point in time. You're not able to really go really anywhere. So they were sort of confined in that one little space while they are out there in Florida. So that's a whole nother conversation, But
yeah, my opinion on the bubble was always that for the Lakers, like everyone played underneath the same situation. Like if the Boston Celtics won a championship, I would be, oh, that's a bubble championship or it doesn't count. I'd be like, yo, these are young guys who went down in the bubble in a tough situation, away from the families, et cetera, and got a championship. It's a championship. Like, I'm not going to sit here and be like, that doesn't count. You know what I mean? So, like, in the grand scheme of things, I thought it was fine for the Lakers. I'm like, I'm not going to take that away from LeBron and Anthony Davis. Like, they went down there and they won. They did what they had to do. Everyone played underneath the same circumstances, but going from that, this roster, talking about their roster, they kind of went away from what got them there. The 3-point shooting, the defense that was on that roster with KCP, Rondo, Kuzma, like the other guys there. And now it just seems like a bunch of athletic guys that just don't fit. There's no spacing for LeBron or AD, and it's a mess right now.
It's sad to say it, right? But like how you said, you're absolutely right. Where they kind of went away from having that particular like defense on the wings and things like that, and even just having just like a real floor general. Having Rondo at that particular time was probably one of the best things that they could have ever done. And since then, you've had the Russell Westbrook experience. I won't say
which has been a roller coaster.
Yeah, I wouldn't say experience. It wouldn't say experiment, but experience. And recently getting Pat Bev. Granted, I love Pat Bev in terms of like his will on the defensive end. But
that's why he's in the league.
Yeah, that's why he's still there. That's why he's as relevant as he is. That's why he was able to go on ESPN and talk with JJ Redick and Stephen A. So,
which was entertaining.
It was really entertaining. I love Pat Bev for that. But the biggest thing is that, not taking nothing away from him in particular, but the Lakers have been adding on pieces that don't really help them out on the offensive end. And that's been one of the biggest things, because with LeBron getting older and with AD not, having his spurts where he'll be healthy 1 minute and then literally he just,
like he fell in the
opener.
Yeah, he fell in the opener right on his back, and everybody was like, "Yo,"
right away.
Well, yeah, like it's just like it's crazy. Like I always say, stop wearing low tops. That was always my, how I'm like basketball superstitious. Like, yo, stop wearing low tops, man. Like, yo, get some sturdy sneakers that you can be like rough and tough. Like they had Rasheed Wallace as a coach for a little bit. And I'm like, did she give him the forces and that's why they fired him? Like, he's like, I'm not wearing them strap things, man. But nah, man, like, it's just been tough, like, to see Anthony Davis, a person that who I, like, in New Orleans was calling top 5 in the game. Like, yo, I love his game. I love what he does on both ends of the floor in offense and defense, protecting the rim. He's able to be mobile on the perimeter and defend. His offensive game, he was hitting his shot in New Orleans, being aggressive, finishing at the hoop. And it's just like, we see bits and pieces of that, but it's like it's so stagnant. It's so it comes and goes for the Los Angeles Lakers, where it's like we need you to be the franchise guy now, especially LeBron getting older, and not really much else around this team. It's like we got to rely on Anthony Davis, and at times he looks like he's able to do that. Like he'll have good starts to games, and then he kind of just struggles throughout the game, selling them for jumpers. I don't know. Can I share this? I don't know if this is going to be able to work, but let's try it the first time. Like literally, let me see if I can pull this up. I didn't do this on purpose, but I do have it. I do have it in the background.
What is this?
Come on, load it. Like it's a clip. It's a clip of Nurkic not even looking at him. It's literally a clip of them not even acknowledging Anthony Davis shooting that ball. Like that is crazy. Like,
can they hit 2 in a row?
Ooh. It just looks bad. It just looks bad. And it's like, yo, what are they going to do? Like they're not even looking to run out to Anthony Davis because they know his percentages are so low from out there. Even Anthony Davis having struggled shooting. I can't remember. I think they hit 9 of 30, something crazy today. But they've been crazy shooting from the field from 3. And you can see that they're trying to do it early and often to try to boost their offense. And it's like, yo, what's the game plan here? And it's funny because they lost these games close. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like the Clippers game was close. The Blazers game was close. So it's like, who they play the other night?
They played Golden State in the opener.
The Golden State game, even though they lost by double digits, their defense looked good. So to see their offense just be you can tell it's the offense, it's the spacing, it's the 3-point shooting that they just don't have against these other teams. And it's like, damn, man. Like, so It's like, what are they going to do? Like, what's their options? And I'll go into the next segment. Like, what are their options? In my opinion, free Russ. Let him go, please. For the Lakers to see y'all lose, cool. I'm fine with that. But in terms of Russ' sanity and his career, free Russ for me.
I mean, I was a big proponent of when they initially got him, and me and you even spoke like off air, like literally, I told you that it wasn't going to work, and I still don't believe it's going to work. It hasn't been working. It's nothing personally against Russ because I know Russ is a high caliber player. He's won MVPs doing it. He's broke records doing it at a high level. The problem is that the system currently in terms of who's the primary ball handler, it doesn't work in this particular situation because Russ is, we know Russ to be, granted, he can give us an assist here, an assist there, and average a triple double. But that happened to be at a time where he was playing by himself or he happened to be the main guy of the team. So that's been sort of like the thing where he's sort of like he's the third option if we're going to be honest.
Yeah.
He's the third option.
Well, this season has been Lonnie Walker.
I'll give it to I believe that was a good pickup for them to pick up Lonnie Walker. But it's just that we sort of lack that. We need another veteran there besides LeBron because like how I said beforehand, LeBron's in year 20. We're going to have him for a few more years, but the only thing is I don't believe, or just my thought about it, I don't think LeBron should be the primary ball handler in all actuality. I think he's kind of not wanted to be the primary ball handler for probably the past.
I mean, I think
7 years.
I think in terms of that, I think you want LeBron with the ball in his hands for the most part, but you need scoring around him. You need spacing around him. Even Anthony Davis, when he was in New Orleans, they had shooters around him. That's how you build around these guys that are ISO, that can get to their own shot, be that dynamic offensively. But yes, LeBron in year 20 probably needs another ball handler at times to help him out, run the offense, get the offense going, be able, and I think most importantly, be able to shoot, spread the floor, be able to get their own shot. It's tough to be able to, even though Anthony Davis is a high caliber player, all-star, he can get his own shot. The rest of the team, Anthony Davis is not a playmaker like that. He can pass like that. But when you're passing to guys that are not able to knock down shots, not able to create off the dribble, it restricts the floor on them. So LeBron doesn't have the spacing to get easy shots. Anthony Davis doesn't have easy shots. So that's probably why Anthony Davis is taking all these shots, probably trying to open up the floor. LeBron's even taking a lot of threes early on the past 2 years. So you know they're looking for spacing. You know they're looking for somebody to knock down a shot. And it's like, you guys just don't have it on this roster constructed-wise. Like, you guys don't have it.
No, not at all. And I think there's a few things that I think should happen. Number one, I think they should look for another option in terms of who they're going to have at point guard by starting off by seeing what trade offers they can possibly get for Russ. I also believe that Anthony Davis, granted, he's been playing the 5. He has the size to play the 5, but I've always sort of said he's not really a 5.
He doesn't want to play the 5.
Yeah, he doesn't want to play the 5. So that's another. Like, I think that they should find a way, or to, find some options where they can they can move AD back to his natural position, which is that power forward, and try to get a big man that can sort of help him out down there. Because in a way, we've seen the Lakers win championships, and during like the Kobe time, like after the fact, where it was like a twin tower setup in a way, where you had ball. And that was one of the biggest things because, granted, we had Bynum that had really bad injuries, but having Powell next to him was able to preserve him in some way. So I think that's sort of like the same situation that's sort of taking place with AD, where he doesn't have that guy next to him. Granted, he has LeBron, but LeBron is sometimes on the wing, and then sometimes he's playing down low. That's sort of like the thing with that. Now, in terms of like having some sort of like spacing and spreading, they have to definitely figure that out too, because they don't really have anybody else there that they can really trust if they was to drive and kick and pass out. Because when you drive and kick and pass out to Russ, it hasn't been going down. When you drive
you're passing out to Pat Bev. You're
that's
passing out to
not
Juan Sano Anderson.
Yeah,
You're passing out to Lonnie Walker. These guys that can't knock down shots. I think they need the trade everyone keeps talking about and mentioning is Buddy Hield and Miles Turner, the 27 and 29 Lakers picks for those guys and Russ to just move that and get Russ out of there. And while I don't think that I think people have been down on the trade and stuff like that, but I think for the Lakers in terms of what that adds to them, you get two guys that can shoot. Miles Turner and Buddy Hield can shoot, spread the floor, open up the floor. You can run pick and roll, run pick and pop. Miles Turner comes in, he can play the 5 and deal with a lot more bigger bodies in the West and East. That moves Anthony Davis back to the 4. So it's like, okay, we can see where that trade makes sense. But on the flip side, if I'm Indiana, I'm like, why am I putting this trade through for you guys? Why am I helping you guys? And I've said to people, I'm like, the 27 picks, 29 picks, that's 5-7 years away. Who's to say the Lakers at that time? LeBron's most likely going to be retired by that time. Yeah. Anthony Davis is either going to be with or without the team. What direction is the Lakers going to be? They're going to have cap space. So who's to say they aren't going to be reloaded? You know what I mean? By that time, that's 5-7 years down the line. They can probably tear it all the way down and probably have cap space to lure people there to make sure those picks aren't as effective. But who knows? I mean, so I think that's an opportunity that people are looking at. And I'm like, I think Indiana can probably get better deals for those guys individually as the season goes on. Like Buddy Hield is a potential starting 2 guard in the league. He can knock down shots, and that's what playoff teams are looking for. I think his contract's around $20 million or so. You get a guy that can knock down shots. That's valuable to playoff teams. You can probably get 2 first-round picks for him, et cetera, whatever the case may be. Miles Turner is a big, he's going to be sought out at the trade deadline and stuff like that. So their options, it's really tough. And it's like everyone's kind of waiting for this Russ shoe to drop for them. And I'm like, I don't know if that shoe is going to drop this year. Is it possible they can go into the offseason because, they've been linked to Kyrie Irving? Is that already a done deal? And that's probably what they're waiting for this season, just to get through the season, keep their picks, and then sign Kyrie Irving in the offseason. Is that what they're planning to do?
If they are able to sign Kyrie next season, that changes everything for them. Because now you have a guy where he doesn't have to be put in a position to where he has to be set up to score. He can go into his own bucket. And we've seen how that was able to work with him and LeBron in Cleveland.
They got to the finals 4 times.
They made it to the finals multiple times, and Kyrie also happened to be the one that hit a big shot for them at the time.
Won the championship.
That was something I believe that was something that LeBron always wanted, even when he had the Heat days. Getting Ray Allen for him was probably one of the best things that's ever happened to him.
Yeah, of course. Yep.
Because he'll probably have one less championship if he didn't have Ray Allen. We'll just be honest. I would be lying if I was to say I didn't want to trade Russ.
It comes back to that, and everyone kills LeBron for that, basically okaying that, and I'm like, yeah, okay, but people forget, when the details came out, Ramona Shelburne, I always get called the LeBron defender for this stuff, but Ramona Shelburne came out and said the Lakers didn't want a deal. They offered him a 2-year deal. So I'm like, all right, so you guys on that flip side didn't want DeMar DeRozan, who's probably had the best stretch of his career after San Antonio right now, after that stretch in San Antonio and falling out like that. So to have him looking like he is in Chicago, and it's like, damn, you guys really needed a guy that can get his own shot, get 20 points a night, really carry his own on the offensive end, especially in those situations where LeBron doesn't have it or AD doesn't have it. The one thing DeMar DeRozan has been able to do in this league, whatever we think about his playoff record or whatever the case may be, his performance in the playoffs, he's been able to score in the league. Like he's a plus 20 point per game scorer. He's able to get buckets. Like he's doing that right now for Chicago with Zach LaVine and that offense over there. So it's like to think that you guys wouldn't offer him a 3-year deal. And that held up that deal, and then he went to Chicago. It's like because every single time they talk to DeMar DeRozan, he's like, "I thought I was going to LA." You know what I mean?
Said that. He's like, "I thought I was there." Pretty much is how.
Yeah, like every single interview when they asked him over the offseason, he was like, "I thought I was going to LA." But yeah, it's just like we don't know what's going to happen with them going forward in terms of piecing that together. Like. Again, they want to trade for play. Of course, teams tanking wanted to offload assets at the end of the season. Utah, San Antonio, potentially Indiana, even though Indiana looks good right now. Houston, all these teams that are probably going to try to tank and get rid of players, trying to drop out of the play-in when they realize they don't have it. Lower seeded playoff teams might be like, "Yo, this ain't it. We might want to restart." Whatever the case may be. So they're basically playing the waiting game. And I said to somebody, I'm like, the Lakers, in order to even have a chance this season or in terms of just making the playoffs, they have to at least hover around 500 until they get those assets to salvage anything of the season to trying to turn it around. Right now, they're 0-3. and that's a really bad start for Lakeland. You know they're going to be going crazy, especially with the Clippers looking as strong as they did. Yeah, it's looking really bad for them right now. And I'm like, I don't know what options they picked. Like, I even thought of a crazy option. I was like, if Portland looks terrible this year, is Dame a possibility? And I know that's crazy. This is just me brainstorming. I'm like, is Dame a possibility? If shit's looking terrible, even though they won today, if shit's looking terrible in Portland, like, is this the end where Dame Lillard's like, all right, man, I'll accept the trade somewhere, and Russell Westbrook, money off the books looks a little bit more accessible to Portland. That's just a crazy idea I have in my head because I'm like, Dame is from Oakland. LA is close. I'm like, I know I've heard reports like he doesn't want to leave Portland. Like he has his family set up there with a compound. Like he's straight in Portland, kind of similar to Bradley Beal in Washington. Like they don't want to leave.
Which
like,
is another person, that was another person LA could have went and tried to get to. But,
and I said the year they got Anthony Davis, I was like, yo, they should have just waited. They should have traded for Bradley Beal and then just signed Anthony Davis in the offseason. Like you probably would have had to give up less to get Bradley Beal than to get Anthony Davis at that time. And I'm like, yo, that was just me talking out loud. Like, yo, you can just trade for Bradley Beal, probably give up a Brandon Ingram, give up a Josh Hart, but keep Kuzma and the other guys and stuff like that, and not lose all your assets, not lose everything. Like you didn't have to lose Lonzo, et cetera, et cetera. But I think the Lakers just was like, yo, we're going all in. Let's go get Anthony Davis. Let's make sure we get Anthony Davis. And they went and got him. Cool. But it's like, damn, like that's another, like, now we're just thinking about other missteps by the Lakers and stuff like that. And it's like, damn, you know what I mean? But it's like, it's tough, like watching the Lakers play right now. And it's like, despite their defense looking good at times, it is just like, yo, their offense is like, I don't even know where their offense is. It's probably one of the worst in the league, like right now, how it looks.
It possibly is. It possibly is. Because it's like they don't have the shooting. They barely have the interior presence. LeBron is doing his step back, and it works sometimes, but then I think some people starting to figure out, or they still really don't trust it either. So it's
like he took that shot today, and he missed it at the end of the game. I'm like, he should have went to the basket there. Of course, so he's always going to get criticized. It's LeBron. So it's like, yo, you should have went to the basket at that point, you know. But he tried it today, and it did not work.
It did not work. It's definitely disappointing to see, but I believe that they will be able to make the playoffs. Like how you said, they do have to hover around 500, I believe. But the West is wild. It's always been wild.
Yeah. Like there's no, like I said it to somebody. I'm like, where like potentially an injury to Anthony Davis or LeBron James. I'm like, yo, they are in situations where they can't afford to miss 5-10 games on the season. Like those two guys can't afford to miss it. It's like, yo, you guys might go 0-5, 0-10 during those stretches if guys are out. Like they can't afford to do that right now. And it's like there's no LeBron is in year 20, 38 years old. Of course, he's playing at a high level, but it's like, yo, he can't carry this team. It's not 30-year-old LeBron. You know what I mean? Where he would have just tried to figure out a way and just been like, all right, I'm just going to muscle this through this and power everybody and just be elite. He's still going to be elite some nights, but it's like, yo, man.
82 games, man. That's it. It doesn't seem long compared to other sports, but it's a fight. It's a fight.
It's definitely
man.
a grind. Definitely a grind. Like, yo, like he's 38 years old. And then it's like, of course, like there's always the catch, like, yo, he's doing things at 38 that we probably never seen other players do. Like we see Karl Malone, Kareem, other guys that play well into their old age, but not at this level. So more is expected of LeBron at this point, I guess. But it's just like, yo, man, sometimes like, yo, he can't do it every night. That's where I'm like, we need Anthony Davis. Well, not me. They need Anthony Davis to step up and
it's okay for you to say we. It's all right.
I get talking basketball, but they need Anthony Davis to step up. They need some type of shooting around them. And it's like, yo, they're getting killed right now. And it's like, I don't see it. I don't see an answer for them right now. Like they should have just tried to get as many 3-point shooters as they can in the offseason. They kind of didn't. Like they got guys that were streaky shooters, and it's like now it's like it just looks bad right now. First 3 games in.
I think even though when I think about some of the players that they could have went and got, thinking about it off the top of my head, they could have went back or did it a double take and went and got KCP again. They could have tried to work out to probably get Danny Green again. Who else? A 6-man of like Norman Powell. Like there's a bevy. There's other players out there, real good playing like role players that I think that they could have went and got that they just didn't choose to do. And
yeah, they just didn't get it.
Yeah, and I think that's sort of been like the issue with like the Lakers for like the past like decade, where it's like they will literally just go after players and overpay some players to where they don't really have money to really dish out to other players. And then I think they're just, they're ignorant to the fact of like, hey, we're gonna just rock out with this particular, set of rosters and we'll figure it out. But it hasn't really worked for them other than the bubble championship.
Yeah. It's looking grim.
It's looking like it's going back to the dark days. It's definitely going that's for sure.
The dark cloud over crypto.com centers gradually moving in. But yeah, we can wrap this one.
Yeah.
Oh, why did I do that?